Welcome board members, staff, appellates, and citizens to the October 10th Mishawaka Board of Zoning Appeals. I'll do the introduction of staff. To my right, we have Donna Burkhart, our administrative planner. Next to her is Shad Annis, our associative planner. Ken Prince, to my left, is our executive director. And in the front row, we have David Bent, our legal counsel. Donna, would you please call the roll?
Adam Gersbauer,
Here.
Joel Dendu,
Here.
Denise Graves, Chris Torty.
Here. Thank you for that. The rules of procedures are up on the board. A couple of notes to begin with. We got a really full agenda tonight, so we need to keep a pretty good clip because there's a meeting right after this. There's a plan commission meeting, and I'd like to just keep everything on task if possible here. We do all of our speaking at the podium. When you come up, if you can please leave your name and address very clearly so Donna can take that information down. First, we'll hear a presentation by the appellant. For each item, we will ask those participating in the room to speak first, followed by those participating online. Then we'll hear from those who wish to speak in favor of the appeal. Then we'll hear those who wish to speak against the appeal. If you're not sure whether you're speaking in favor or against, or you just have some questions, my suggestion would be come up during the against part. What we'll do is we'll accumulate all the questions that we have, then we'll have a right of rebuttal by the appellant to come up and answer all of those questions. Then we'll have a board discussion and a board vote. I'm not sure if people are going to be attending online tonight. Donna, they will be? Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some.
So extra patience for people that are attending online. That tends to always be clumsy for some reason. Previous month's minutes, September, were distributed. All those, or is there any corrections or additions to those?
No.
All those?
Just August, though, instead of September.
Oh, yeah. Great, thank you. All those in favor of approving those?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the previous month's minutes are approved. Is there any conflict of interest by the board members by any of the agenda items?
No.
No.
No? Okay, that brings us to the first item on the agenda, which is Appeal 23-25, an appeal submitted by DNA Investments LLC requesting a developmental variance for 116 South Pine, Mishawaka, Indiana, to allow a handicap ramp with a reduced side yard setback along the alley north. Hi, is there somebody here to present this appeal? Hi, come on up.
Hi, I'm Darren Kemp, the owner. So yes, I need to build a ramp for, the resident had a stroke and had a heart attack, he's now in a wheelchair, so he needed a ramp. So that's, and they say it's in 0 feet of the setback, but it does go out onto my concrete slab, so.
So this is already built?
Yes, but it's not like that. We rebuild it because he was like really picking up speed and having a good time with it. You know, it's going too fast.
I saw some notes about here that it did not meet the building department slope requirements, so that's been changed?
Yes, we redid it yesterday, and Bo Hunt was out and approved it.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other questions? Nope. Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of Appeal 23-25? Is there anybody in the room or online wishing to speak against Appeal 23-25? Is there any additional information? No? Then we'll close the public hearing. And is there any board members wishing to speak on this? If not, I'll take a motion on Appeal 23-25.
I move that we approve Appeal 23-25.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Adam Gersbauer,
Yes.
Joel Dindu,
Yes.
Chris Torty.
Yes, and Appeal 23-25 passes. Brings us to the next item on the agenda, Appeal 23-26, an appeal submitted by Mohammed Jorbran requesting a developmental variance for 225 Palu, Mishawaka, Indiana, to allow for a reduced rear yard setback. Hello, come on up.
Hello, I'm coming with my friend to translate for him, and he is the owner.
Great,
That's
Kevin, can I get your first and last name for Donna?
Muhammad Jubran,
Okay, can we get your first and last name too?
Sam,
Okay.
Sam Alhiari,
You spell the last name?
Alhyari.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Yes, sir.
tell us about your appeal.
He wants to do an extension on his house.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, he wants to do an extension. It's just like he's wanted to add a room, 32 by 26, in addition to his house.
Okay, so I see that you've been working with the city and.
Yes, sir.
And the city's reviewed and approved the request. The electric department had some notes there about the overhead electric service.
Yes, sir. We're gonna take care of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's aware of the changing the pole. You know, it's not a pole. It's just electric junction, like a box.
Well, thank you for working with the staff. I see that they recommended approval as well. Is there any other questions?
No. Sir.
Or any other
It's all clear.
questions from the board members?
No.
No? Thank you for the presentation. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of Appeal 23-26? Hearing none, is there anybody online or in the room wishing to speak against Appeal 23-26? Is there any additional information on this? Thank you. Then this closes the public hearing. And if there's no other questions, I'll take a motion on Appeal 23-26.
I move that we vote to approve Appeal 2326.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Adam Gersbauer,
Yes.
Joel Dindu,
Yes.
Chris Torty.
Yes. And Appeal 23-26 passes. That brings us to the next appeal, which is in consideration going to the council. Appeal 23-27, an appeal submitted by Comfy Homes LLC requesting a use variance for 550 Union, Mishawaka, Indiana, to allow adult daycare in the I-2 Heavy Industrial District. Hello.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good.
My name is Doris Portalease, and I'm here with Ruben, and we won't take much of your time. We just wanted to, again, thank you and Ken's staff for helping us. This is concerning the old Troyer building at 550 Union Street. And what Ruben is wanting to do is a much-needed service for the community. It is kind of an adult daycare, but we wanted to make sure that everybody understood that nobody will be sleeping there. There'll be no food that will be prepared. And yeah, I think that's all I have.
hello everyone.
Hello. Name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Ruben. People ask me how do you spell that. I say, like the sandwich. And that's my first name. My second name is Kangede, which is K-A-N-G-E-D-E. Yeah.
Donna, did we get that?
Yes.
You
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We do offer services to individuals with intellectual disability. That means individuals with a diagnosis of developmental delay or the spectrums of autism and cerebral palsy. So what happens is that we do provide a home, decent home. The idea is to make them live in the community and contribute in the community as productive members of the community. So we provide for them homes, and they are surrounded by staff. But we realized, and especially during COVID, that these individuals, just like everybody else, will need to self-actualize their life. They need to have something they need to look forward for. Somewhere they wake up in the morning and they have a plan. Somewhere they can go and get supported. Somewhere they can go and learn a new skill. It could be just socialization. It could be just saying hi. It just could be just saying thank you. All those skills that we all need. And we realized that we needed to have a facility where these individuals, they can all meet and spend the part, at least a certain part of their day, mostly between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. So that when they go back home, they can look back and see there was a meaning for my day. And what that does, and that's what we've seen, and I'm comparing that, I've done these for the last 20 years, and I will not spend a lot of your time. What that does is that when people feel that their lives have meaning, when they go home, they feel more fulfilled, and there are not so many police calls just because of behaviors. They share homes, most of them. And majority of behaviors stem from lack of, feeling fulfilled. So we feel like having this facility will be a great, something great for the community. It will help those individuals actually consume less of police time, for sure, because there are moments that the staff will need the support for the police. And I think it's a great thing for the community, and it's a needed service.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the hours of operations, you said it goes till 3 o'clock?
About 3, it's the end of the time, because what happens, and majority of the individuals will take their medication and their breakfast around 8 a.m. So by 9 a.m. they are back at the facility. They spend their time, also supported by staff. And then by 4, if there are medications that they need to take, they need to be back at home, even to prepare for dinner and all that. So it's the hours of between 9 a.m. to about 4 p.m. About 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize that I don't know this. So what's the primary business of Comfy Homes LLC then?
What happened is that the actual company that will be doing, or the actual agency that will be doing business there, is actually a residential option. It's only that we wanted to separate the real estate part so that it doesn't interfere with our business, and the actual agency that does the services. So the actual agency that will be providing services there is called Residential Options.
Residential options? Is that what you're
Residential Options, yes.
So part of the building will be like office space for the LLC, and then part of the building will be run by this residential options then? Is that what I'm understanding?
So the whole building, actually, rather than it being owned by Coffee Homes, the whole building will actually be, all the businesses that will be there. And that means the day program and the offices, they will be for residential options.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No? Thank you for the presentation.
You're most welcome. And thank you so much for the opportunity to address the board.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of Appeal 23-27? Is there anyone in the room or online wishing to speak against Appeal 23-27? Is there any additional information? No, Mr. Chairman. Then I will close the public hearing. And is there any board members that wish to speak? And if not on this, I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve Appeal 23-27.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Adam Gersbauer,
Yes.
Joel Dendo,
Yes.
Chris Torty.
Yes, and Appeal 23-27 will move to the council with a favorable rating. That brings us to the next item, which is Appeal 23-28. An appeal submitted by Delight Raleigh LLC and Ann Witkowski and Mark Kasanovich requesting a developmental variance for property located at the southwest corner of Bremen Highway and Meyer Drive, Mishawaka, Indiana, for reduced pavement setback for a Wendy's restaurant. Hello, is there someone here to present this appeal? Or online?
I think Robin.
Donna, was this one that was going to be online?
I think it was a call-in.
Okay, let's give them a minute. Appeal 23-28 online. If you can please unmute and present your appeal, that would be great. Tech support in the back. Is there anybody online that you hear? No? Yes? One more call for Appeal 23-28. You know what, we'll put this on hold for right now. Maybe we will hit this again towards the end. So let's just hold off on Appeal 23-28. We'll try again. Tech support's reporting up.
Chris, there are people online, but they're having technical issues. They're trying to fix it.
Crud. Can they call in or something? Do it the old-fashioned way?
Are they call-ins, or are they online?
I'd hate to have them miss the date. A big deal. Okay, so we're going to hold off on Appeal 23-28 due to technical difficulties. That'll move us to 23-29, an appeal submitted by Penn High School Building Corporation requesting a developmental variance for Walt Disney School, 4015 Filbert, Mishawaka, Indiana, to allow for an oversized accessory structure. Hello.
Hello, Chris Eberhardt, Arcos Design with the architect. So the school is looking to get an additional storage for their maintenance needs for their 15-acre site located on the southern half where there's an existing playground. Obviously, zoning only calls for a 720. That's not going to be big enough to house their maintenance needs, so they're looking to get a variance to enlarge it to 1,500 square feet.
Any questions? Nope, thank you.
Yep.
Is there anybody else online or in the room wishing to speak in favor of Appeal 23-29? Hearing none, is there anybody online or in the room wishing to speak against Appeal 23-29? Is there any additional information? Mr. Prince, no? Okay, then that closes the public hearing, and I will take a motion on 23-29.
I move to approve 23-29.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Adam Gersbauer,
Yes.
Joel Dendo,
Yes.
and Chris Doherty.
Yes, and Appeal 23-29 passes. That brings us to Appeal 23-30, an appeal submitted by Storage 5 Mishawaka LLC requesting a developmental variance for 605 South Laurel Street, Mishawaka, Indiana, to allow indoor self-storage to be located within 250 feet of residential zone property and a reduced pavement setback. 23-30. Is somebody here to present this appeal?
Yes, hello. Chris Catania, C-A-T-A-N-I-A, 605 Laurel Street. So I'm the owner. I'm here to request the variance as discussed, to reduce from 250 foot to 16 foot and then a pavement setback. We've already converted the existing building to a self-storage facility. It should be opening in the next 2 months. So this is the development in the southern portion, the rear lot, for additional self-storage, partly and due to the fact that we need access for firefighting equipment. So part of allowing firefighting equipment access is to build permanent roads, and in doing so, it made sense to go ahead and go forth with the Phase 2 or the planned expansion of the property. Staff has been great to work with. I know that 2 weeks ago, the site plan was approved and is fully in compliance. So happy to answer any questions.
And what was the original plan for this, for the fire trucks and stuff, if this developmental variance didn't pass?
Well,
There had to have been a plan, right?
yes. So what came there's parts to this. When we first bought the building, we thought it was in compliance. It was not in compliance. So it's our job to bring it up to compliance. So we designed this in 2 phases. Phase 1, which would just be the drive access for the firefighting equipment, is what you see here. Now, it's designed so that the detention, because even all impervious surface needs detention, the drive aisles themselves need detention. So the drive aisles themselves plus the rest of the development is designed into what you see here for the detention.
Go ahead.
Did you say the first building has been up and running for,
No, it's near completion. I was just there. It should open for business in December.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that was the existing Southern Molding building.
And the setback to the residential, can you show me that space? The 250 that's getting reduced, so that's
Yes.
where, got it.
Yes. And we did get the same variance for the existing structure, which was needed to develop that.
Any other questions for Mr. Catania?
And this access change was at the request of the fire department?
This is all due to the fire department's request and need to access the back of the building.
and there'll be landscaping on the boundaries, is that right?
Yes, the full site plan, which is here, you're welcome to see, has the landscape plan on it. Yeah, and it's to code.
Any other questions? for
No,
Mr.
not at this
Catania?
time.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of Appeal 23-30? Is there anybody in the room wishing to speak against Appeal 23-30? Hi, come on up. Ooh, name and address, and then,
I've never done this before. so I'm
you're
sorry.
good.
I live at 725 Laurel Street, and I'm Roger Tabor. The access road that you're going to put right there, or when he builds the buildings, there's gonna be so much traffic through there. My window is only 10 feet away from the edge of my fence. It's not even kosher to do that there. It should be like 30 feet.
Okay, can you put up the previous one? I want to see his plot. Which is your house? One of those R1s?
The house is right next to where he wants that access road, or the road to, when he does his, buildings. See, I thought he was gonna add on to that building and have it all indoors. It's gonna be outdoors, outdoor units, and then it's gonna be a road through there. I already have a bad enough time with the traffic behind the alley. They go 60 miles an hour through there. The people that did the water system through there, their trucks were sitting there and they about got plowed through. It was ridiculous.
Jeez, right there.
And they're talking about putting an alley on the side. You could actually end that alley and curve it to the edge of the, where his area is, and dead end our alley would make it where people wouldn't fly through our alley. Or you could, on 10th Street, where the projects are at, the low-income housings, there's an access road there, but you could make, instead of doing an alley there, make it a road there to go inside. Instead of right next to residential houses, because my neighbor across the street, I told her about it, and she rents the property, and they didn't even get no notice. When you rent a property, they don't even get no notice. No, half the people that are there are renters. And then this meeting was supposed to be last month, and you didn't even send anything out to them again for another notice. You guys should have sent another notice to this time. It was supposed to be last month. So I'm against that road being right there. You can make it someplace else. You can either dead end the alley, and he can buy the alley, or he can do 10th Street and put it behind the projects and make an access, because he wants an access thing there with a gate over there on the side where the low-income housings are at on 10th Street. Put it there. Not next to, my bedroom's right next to that lot. And I've lived there for almost 35 years. My neighbor here is next to me too. And I don't know if she wants to appeal or do anything or do it, because she doesn't know that. I'm a UAW and I do stuff like this too through the UAW and Local 5. So I just think you can make another way to the access point. I have no problem with him putting the units back there or anything like that, but I don't want it next to my bedroom. It'd be too many people going in and out, even though he's gonna stop it at 10 o'clock at night, but you're not gonna probably put gates up there for people to roll around there. I had to actually put up a chain thing and 4x4 poles so people wouldn't park in my driveway. I had Mishawaka Utilities park in my driveway and stuff. I have an inconvenience for everything else there, and I just got that straightened around. Now I'm having this problem. I just don't want, I get up at 3 in the morning. I go to bed at, like 7, 8 o'clock in the evening to go to AM General. I do the Humvees, I drive a truck, I drive a semi, and I cannot be bothered with people doing that. I have to have my sleep or I could get into an accident and I drive a forklift. I'm not gonna hurt somebody being woke up.
So you're the R1 at the top, 725,
I'm
right?
not trying to be mean, but I just want, I want you to be able to do that, but I just wish it would be a different entrance instead of next to my house.
Yeah, I need to keep you on the microphone so we can record it. Or
Well,
so it can
sorry.
be recorded. That's okay. No problem. He's going to come up as a right of rebuttal and answer as many questions as he can.
I know they're wanting to put a fence there, but that isn't gonna be, the fence isn't gonna be, and the trees that you're gonna put up, that ain't gonna be enough barrier for that, being 10 feet away from the fence from my house. I hate to appeal it, but I don't have no problem with him putting all the units back there, but I just wish there was another entranceway that he could do that. Like close the alley off and make it in and out that way. Because there's a business right beside me, and they're super quiet. This is gonna be quiet too. And the person that lives right behind, I call it the doctor's. He's a doctor, he's a surgeon that owns the gray building, the big gray building, and he put a business in there. And there's another house beside that, but he has access, he don't use the alley. So you could actually close that alley off on that, or go through 10th Street, where all the projects are at, then you have a place on 10th Street, and just maybe make it an entry that way. He would already have his road to that, just he would have to make it a little bit better. Anything's possible, but you gotta have money to do it. I don't know, and, you know, I mean, if I wanted to build $1 million car, I could build $1 million car as long as I got the money for it and do anything I want. But that's all I got to say, but I just don't want it next to my window.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come up and talk? You're one of the residents in there? Do you want to come up and say a few things? What, I'm interested in your thoughts, if you'd like. Come on up. Come on up. Hey, we all work for you. Come on up. Are you, okay. Okay. Well, is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak against appeal? Glasses. 23-30. Okay, right of rebuttal. Let's get some of these questions answered.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate your comments and hear your concerns. So there is, unfortunately, no other access. We do own the lot, which is zoned I-1, where the proposed drive is coming through. It is the only option. There is no other option. Can't privatize an alleyway. Be a major project, I would assume. It can be done. So unfortunately, it's a landlocked piece of property. We have designed proper screening, a fence. It's a very light use of the property. I mean, if you consider what could also go there with no variance, from metal smelting plants to, you know, machine shops that would have much more traffic. I think this is a really light use of an industrial site. You know, access hours, like you said, are 6 to 10. We will have a gate, an access controlled gate there. The gate will be on the side of the storage facility, yes.
Well, hold on, we can't have the banter back and forth, so
So the proposed,
afterwards, we
yeah,
can.
there will
we
be
can
an
come up.
access control gate, fully fenced property, fully landscaped. The gate is on the large portion, the bigger lot, so maybe the west side of the alley. I don't believe you can actually gate the small lot because of staging setbacks onto Laurel Street.
A couple other questions. Can you talk a little bit about the traffic, the alley, the fence, and some of the outdoor units?
Sure. There is no outdoor storage, it's all indoor storage. It's units that are accessible via a door, all facing inwards to the property. The screening fence is both live and, meaning vegetation, and a physical fence for the access drive. The landscaping is per code for the actual property itself. What was your other question?
The outdoor traffic,
Okay, so
outdoor
traffic.
units, traffic, alley, fence.
Yes, so the alley traffic, I've been there. There's a lot of people that come down that alley. I can't control that. That's a public alley. It's not my people, it's the neighbor, it's businesses, it's residents, it's everybody. So, I, you know, it come north, come south. Storage traffic, it's one of the lightest uses of property in general, commercial or industrial. So daily traffic counts, I mean, some days 5, 10 cars. You know, during lease up, hopefully there'll be a little bit more, but once it's occupied, it's very minimal. The building itself has its own entrance, which is more to the north. So the building itself, which is significantly larger and has more units, there's already a drive in place to the north, which you can't actually get from the north to the south, hence the reason that this is the only access to the property, and the reason why the fire department has to have it.
Can you put up the other resident photo? Have you had a meeting with R1, and R1 about all of this in advance?
Have I personally had a meeting? No, but letters got mailed out to everybody. For the second time, because remember the first time, we got a variance just like this for the big building, which was approved. So this is now the second variance
Yeah, but this
request.
contains an access road right next to his house. That's a little different.
Which again is an I-1 zone piece of property.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any fencing along this new alleyway or anything like that?
Well, we're only crossing the alleyway, the width of the alleyway. You can't put a fence across the alleyway.
Separating the residents from the alley or landscaping?
So specifically east-west along the new drive, yes, there's a fence and landscape buffer. North-south on the developmental side, yes, there's landscaping, and then the storage units themselves, the back is the physical barrier fence. So it's a completely protected zone. Pedestrians will not be able to get into the property without breaking in.
Yeah, without.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions on the right of rebuttal? Mr. Prince, is there any additional information you can add here?
Not very well, no.
Working?
Yeah, if you get close to it, I
Okay,
think.
let's do it. IT, please take note of the microphone situation.
Try singing into it, Ken.
La, 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 la. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So staff did, as the applicant identified, we looked at this as an industrial property. So the access drive is the only access. When you think of the legal test, something's pounding.
It's the microphone.
It's the microphone. Okay. Now it's worse. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll adjust my distance. Maybe that's a little better. So we looked at this as an industrial property. So if you can imagine if an I-2 use came, but just a standard manufacturing facility and wanted to build on that piece of property, that property is landlocked without that drive. That physically meets the test for a hardship in terms of providing a variance to get access to the piece of property. That being said, we are also sympathetic to the neighbors who have to deal with that traffic and the potential use. So we will say, as the applicant mentioned, the self-lock storage is a less intense use than what would otherwise be permitted in the I-2 heavy industrial zoning classification, which this has been zoned going back to the Dodge manufacturing facility. So what I would like to ask the applicant is if they're willing to consider any kind of traffic calming along the alley. And I don't know what that would be at this point. It could be as simple, and I don't want to speak for engineering, but putting a stop sign on the alley that would prevent people from running it like a racetrack that was spoken into the record. We haven't verified that, but I trust that the residents are telling us the truth, that people are driving way too fast along that section. So I think there are mitigating factors that can be done, obviously the fence and the landscaping, but we can't escape the fact that heavier use on the property, and whatever goes in there is going to require a drive to get through there. So that's the circumstance that we're dealing with, and I just wanted to state that for the record. I'm happy to answer also any questions that the board might have.
I appreciate that. Is there any additional comments based upon that?
The audio's a little bit broken. I think I heard that a stop sign is requested in an alleyway, which I'm happy to pay for a stop sign, but I don't think I have the right to put a stop sign in an alleyway, as it's a public access drive.
We can have our executive director.
I think it'd be
Can we,
great.
is this a better microphone?
Yes, much better. Wow.
Okay. So what I indicated was, would you be open to providing traffic calming at that intersection of the alley and your drive? The intent would be, what I indicated was it could be as easily as adding stop signs, which would have to be approved by the city. And we can put up the stop signs, that's not, but we haven't looked at it in that regard, and we're sensitive to what the neighbors are saying. So we would have to coordinate with you and your site plan to provide that type of amenity to essentially address the speeding issue that's happening through the alley. That's what we want to do.
I think it's fantastic, because I don't want to get T-boned either.
Right.
Yeah, Steve Ruby, I'm sure, who you've worked with.
Right.
Would happily work with you to put that in. I think it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, and to your other points, I mentioned earlier, but yeah, other potential uses there. I think this is one of the lightest uses: lumber sawmills, metal stamping, pipe manufacturing, trash incinerators, animal byproduct processing. These are all uses that are allowed in the I-2. So I think this is a good thing for the community.
Yeah, okay. I'm interested in your thoughts. Can you come back up? Name and address again.
It's Roger Tabor, 725 Laurel Street.
And I totally get what you're saying here, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this. If they did some things to mitigate the speed.
If they put a stop sign in there, they would just blow through it. We have a Mustang that lives on 6th Street, and she'll verify that, I'm sure. He's got a killer stereo system. It almost breaks my windows. It vibrates my windows, and he's going to kill somebody one of these days. He's almost T-boned me at 10th and Laurel Street.
But you know that
He's
it
never-
could, the use case for that property could be a lot worse for you at industrial if we didn't do anything. I mean,
But why couldn't they just do the alley, like I said, and have the in and out there and have just one entrance instead of two?
because if it's industrial, somebody can come in and do whatever they want under the rules of industrial and just kind of,
And it would stop people from going through the alley too, as much. Because if you have that open and the blacktop there, people are gonna just go round and round and round there, whether he closes that down at 10 o'clock or whatever. I've had bottles broken and all kinds of stuff there.
but it could be a lot worse if it was industrial and you had industrial type of traffic.
I'm just saying that
Going through.
if the access roads there, you need to have 3 entryways to get in and block that off completely so people don't use that then. Have three gates that you gotta go in to get through there. So that way, residential people like myself, I can't use his spot that he paved to go down there and just do circles around there, because there's.
Right, but our executive director talked about looking at ways to mitigate the traffic and looking into
A
that.
stop sign isn't gonna help.
It isn't going to help at all.
No, they'll blow through that. And I've called the police many a times, and they just blow me off, don't wanna do nothing. It's pathetic. I would like a gate. If you got the alleyway right here, have a gate here, and then a gate to get into his thing, so nobody can actually park here and play their music there or do whatever, or the city park there, or, because there'll be all kinds of people parking there, doing stuff, and it's just, it blows my mind. Like I said, just for me, for my driveway, I had to have a rope.
Mr.
Yeah.
Prince, what are
Mr.
your
Chairman,
thoughts here?
I would note that we can't use the alley for commercial access. It doesn't meet code for.
But I'm just
minimum
saying, if you
20
put
feet.
that access road in there, have it where you got to badge in, and then badge in 3 times,
No,
so nobody can go through that
so we're
area.
discussing, so I completely sympathize, but right now we're arguing something
That's not
that-
on the, yeah. it's
Right,
about the
so what,
zoning.
what we need to do is go back with the applicant and look at ways that we can mitigate. I'm not sure if the gates would work. There's a whole lot of departments, et cetera, that have to review that. I think we are open to looking at that, but that's not what is being considered.
Because if he's putting a
this
fence
evening.
up on my side, fence up on the other side, it ain't gonna take that much more to put 2 there and then just badge in, badge in, badge in.
So the issue.
That way at 10 and 12 o'clock at night, people that are using the alley don't use that and keep just running around.
So typically, we do not like to dead-end alleys. We want
I'm
people
not
to be able
saying
to
a
drive.
dead-end alley, I'm saying.
Well, a
that-
fence would create a dead end there, right?
I'm not saying a dead-end alley now. Make the road where the access road where you want it, okay?
Right.
Where the alley's at, he's gonna put a gate here,
Right?
but the alley is gonna make it access, and then they're gonna just run through here throughout the night. When he paves that, cuts the trees down on that piece of property, if that ain't, the alley's right here, okay? A gate here, and a gate right here. Laurel Street's right here. That way people, citizens don't just want to run through the alley by my bedroom window. If he just gates it here at the other side of the alley, people can park on there, play their music, do whatever they want. That doctor that owns that building right there, they've done donuts in there. Caused so much dust and everything else. You just,
Well, I think some of the details need to be looked at, but what we're voting on today is the best use case for that property, that industrial property.
if they would put a gate there, right at Laurel Street, where you badge in, go through there. Before you get to the alley, have another gate where you badge in right here, and then you badge in again to get into his units so nobody can access that, but the people that are accessing the units. I'm saying like Joe Blow over here wants to run through there at 1 in the morning.
But, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the discussion.
Yep, no, I
but we're
understand. I
well-
just wanna
well
make
beyond
sure he
that. The
got
other
heard.
thing I would point out about the scenario proposed is that it keeps the alley open then, correct?
It keeps the alley open, yeah.
Right, but they're running up and down the alley currently, right?
If you put.
So I'm not sure what
My house
that-
is right here, and you got the access road here.
Okay.
A fence here to open up.
I think this requires further study. The applicant
And
has
open it
committed
up
to do
here,
that.
and then open it up
I think
here.
we need
Okay.
to look closer at that of the ways to mitigate that outside of this meeting.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Catania. You'll be willing to look at some of these considerations?
I mean, if I had the money, I'd put the gates up for him, but I don't have that kind of money.
Okay. Well, thank
It
you.
would just be 2 more gates to put up there, and he's already putting a 3rd one up there.
Thank-
That way, people that go along the side of my house aren't using it throughout the middle of the night and stuff. Like, say
Okay.
some kids are wanting to just run around that alley and then run down where he's got that paved already. Plus, it's gonna save him money on
Understood.
somebody that's paved there, because they might tear it up.
Understood, understood. Okay, thank you very much. Is there anybody else in the room wishing to speak against Appeal 23-30? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I will take any notes, comments, or discussions on 23-30, or we'll take a motion.
So, I mean, you two, or Mr. Prince, can correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that the only sort of access that's ever going to be had to that property is that little rectangle that's on the other photograph, is that
there.
your understanding, that?
That's the only current legal access to the property. It doesn't mean that somebody, somebody could buy a house, demo it, but right now that's legally set up to provide the access to that piece of property.
And it's currently I-2 industrial, and if it's going to be accessed, that's where it's going to be accessed from.
Right.
So, at least unfortunately for me, I see that as really the only option.
Any other comments?
Will the litigating factors of people speeding down the alley from fear of them doing loops around this block going to be addressed?
It sounds like Mr. Catania was gonna, and
Yes.
with the request of our executive
I'll
director,
reach
they're
out to
gonna look at
the
that.
city engineer, and I'll also reach out to Officer Fultinsky, who does community policing, to see if there isn't something they can do. Part of it is if people aren't going to follow the law, if they're going to blow through that stop sign, I'm not sure what we can do other than the enforcement on the other end to do that. And that's really where I'll leave it. I don't know. I mean, we're talking about an issue that regardless of what would go here, that condition is going to exist. So I think definitively as part of this, we will look at it and see what we can do to help mitigate that concern regarding the speed of the traffic going through there.
And, I mean, certainly if anybody's parking on that access, the owner and the applicant is going to have a very strong incentive to call the authorities to, because that's the only access to the units, correct? Is that, okay.
Right. Thank you for all your,
The other element is if it's a private drive, they have the ability to tow anybody that is parking on that private drive. I mean, the alley is public, but that drive is private.
it's private, you're right,
Correct.
so they could call a towing company.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you for all the extra comments. Thank you for coming in. No, we're done. I closed the public hearing. Sorry. Yep, if it's private, yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to call the owner of the property. The city doesn't tow people off of private property.
No, the
Okay,
owner.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, the owner. Okay, with that, Appeal 23-30, I will take a motion.
I move that we approve Appeal 23-30.
Second?
Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Adam Gersbauer,
Yes.
Joel Dindu,
Yes.
and Chris Torty.
Yes, and Appeal 23-30 passes. I'll go back to Appeal 23-28. Is there somebody online for that appeal? Delight Rally LLC and Ann Witkowski and Mark Kasanovich, the developmental variance for the Wendy's restaurant. Somebody online? Are we still having technical difficulties? Yes, we are. I got the thumbs up.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Appeal 23-31, appeal submitted by Matt Properties LLC requesting a developmental variance for 800 Cleveland Street, Mishawaka, Indiana, to allow for a reduced yard setback and fence height. Hi.
Hello. My name is Gary Mott, M-A-T-T is the last name. I'm the owner of both the building and the business operates out of the building. We've been there 23 years, and we've grown considerably in size, and we're just need some more space. And we've asked for a reduced setback requirement. I don't know what the exact requirement is, but we want it reduced to 9 feet. And then we're also asking for a reduction in the fence height from 7 feet to 6 feet, just because there's already an existing fence there that's 6 feet high, that all we would have to do is add slats to meet the requirement. And then we would also plant some trees as necessary to block the view. And we've worked with the staff to come up with this solution.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
Nope, thank you for your presentation. Is there anybody else online or in the room wishing to speak in favor of Appeal 23-31? Hearing none, is there anybody online or in the room wishing to speak against Appeal 23-31?
Mr. Chairman, we do have a letter of remonstrance.
Okay,
It identifies, "Dear Mishawaka City Planning Department, I am writing to object to the developmental variance submitted by Matt Properties LLC to allow for reduced yard setback and fence height at 800 Cleveland Street. I've owned 4 properties behind their parcel for 25 years at 1502 Berkeley Circle, 1504 Berkeley Circle, 1506 Berkeley Circle, and 1508 Berkeley Circle, and their building certainly should not be any closer than it is currently, nor should the fence be lowered. As a realtor, I'm aware of the effect on my property values that would be detrimental due to the increase in noise and visual impacts. The visual impact is already undesirable. Please feel free to reach out to me for additional information, and please confirm receipt of this email. With gratitude, it's signed by Jackie Lackner Friant. Forgive me if I got the pronunciation wrong, and that is from 412 Bittersweet Commons, Suite 1533, Granger, Indiana.
Thank you. And of course, in the staff report, it mentions that the property included, that it will not be impacted. So there's a difference there.
Mr. Chairman, I would also note that we asked the applicant to go to Berkeley Circle, and you saw the petition that was signed in favor by a number of the Berkeley Circle residents, so that it was also submitted as part of the record.
Okay, great. As a right of rebuttal, Mr. Matt, do you want to come up and speak on that letter?
No, I didn't mention that particular fact that we had gotten that approval, but we got the approval from the residents, so I felt as though we'd done our due diligence. We also, the use of the building is going to be for mainly storage of materials, so there really isn't going to be any operating machinery in it at all.
Gotcha.
The only thing that will be a forklift operating, that's a propane-powered forklift, so it doesn't make hardly any noise. So,
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
No? We'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and if there's nothing more to be said about 23-31, I will take a motion.
I move to approve 23-31.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Adam Gersbauer,
Yes.
Joel Dindu,
Yes.
and Chris Torti.
Yes, 23-31 passes. Moving on, we have Appeal 23-32, an appeal submitted by Lincoln Way Inn LLC, requesting a developmental variance for 277 Lincoln Way West, Mishawaka, Indiana, to allow for a reduction in landscaping for undersized trees. Hi, is there somebody in the room or online wishing to present Appeal 23-32?
I think they were going to be